All right, everybody, welcome back. So I had a glitch with the audio previously. Hopefully this one comes across. It's quite still zoomed to continue. It's 10:17, and I apologize for the issue with the audio. Anyway, here's a follow-up on the market activity. As we mentioned on the pre-market forecast analysis, the audio is bad, but if you try to listen closely, just close to it, up the volume as much as you can, and you're probably going to get it. But the whole point is, I'm still looking for a long position in the long-term perspective of the market. So here's a trade on the S&P. I'm going to go into the 4-hour chart so you can see clearly what I'm talking about. And as I shared on the video, this is a massive overlap zone that I was just paying close looked at, and overall the market tendency for the market to push up and come back down. It's repetitive, and I was expecting a pullback to continue. And there are multiple pockets of potential zones that you could short term and use those as targeting, but very short, or wait out everything until how they react from those zones, which is what they are doing right now, and potentially continue into the upper side. So on the S&P 500, I'm going to go into a 5-minute chart. We can clearly see here at the 9:30 mark, right? The market opened and then sold off heavily, going through the first synergy zone and the big synergy zone at the bottom, right? So in a nutshell, that's basically what we're looking for. And this purple zone right here, is the one that we're trying to aim for. It's basically going back and closing the gap into the previous day close. That's kind of the play here. It might work, it might not work, but in a nutshell, that's what we're after. Notice how that we went into this zone. It's just hitting the first previous zone. And remember, support turns into resistance. That's the reason the market is just holding accordingly in there. And the whole thing is, and I'm just playing out of a 1 hour and preferably 4-hour chart. So I can see the market just pulling back down, and basically I'm expecting for the market to come back and try to hit the previous day close area. And if they carry on and continue, then we'll have enough data to assess the next target into the upper ground. But the one that I'm aiming for is going to be precisely this level right there at the 65.13 area. Moving into the NQ, same thing will apply. Beautiful setup here. Although the zone that I was expecting was this one at the bottom. And again, just try to make the best of checking the previous video. But if I drop down to a 15-minute chart, we can clearly see here, right, as the market opened at 9:30, they went and tested this zone, and this zone overlaps with this subzone. Notice a little bit of a overlap of a push. So basically it was respected. So this support was respected, violated, and closed below. This important level right here is a synergy zone level 1. So this is a very strong level, and I can see that the market was basically go through it. And again, this is a 15-minute chart and closed just right above it. It opened above, went below it, but now it closed fully on the top side. And as you can see, we just hit that power zone level. I'm going to show it to you like so. This zone right here, let me change the color of this to the one that I like to use. Dark age, there you go. And that zone is imperative, so it's time to close some of the partials here. I'm going to close 2 out of those 6. Trail just stopped to the break-even point halfway through. It will suffice to go probably below that zone, but I will not be that aggressive. I'm just going to lock in perhaps maybe $1,000 right there and still give it enough chance to do its thing. So the whole concept is the previous close and point of control. This is where they need to go. So this is kind of the target, immediate target, just right there. However, you see the purple level on the top. And again, I just talked about this on the previous video. That's what we're after. You want to dial it even further down. You go into a 3-minute chart and identify structure of the market, the way that it's behaving. I noticed that on 3 minutes, this is kind of a pivot gap. So having the stop right there on the top is not going to make much. So I'd rather have to switch mentality at this point and then just go for the mentality of, the worst case scenario is I walk away with $500, meaning I'm going to at least kind of break even. But still, we're giving the market enough space. Let me see if I can show you. So we're giving enough window of movement in here to bounce and continue. The idea is for them not to go below this zone and break free to the upper side and break above the 23,898, targeting 23,930 and 23,940. The last caveat here is for us to make sure that the OT is validating this. So we're going to go to the OT. We just log in, come back into the left side. And as I mentioned, long-term perspective, you can see here. Let me just squeeze this in. Let me see if I can squeeze it in. Give me 1 second. There we go. You can see the M20, M4, 240, 480. These are bullish and these are massively negative. I'm assuming that long-term perspective, this is a long-term outlook. And I can see here, over here on the top, these are double digits, I'm sorry. You see double digits, grayed out, coming back and forth. She's just telling me a different story, okay? It's just telling me that there is no validity of the movement that they're doing right now. It's just getting unbiased. My take is to start seeing, you see what the NQ is doing and moving into the positive number on the M1, matching up the big siblings on the bottom. That is how I predict and forecast that buyers are stepping in on a bigger picture, okay? That is coming down, returning to the upside. So that's the whole process, the way that I'm expecting. And this is how I would play this, how I'll play this game, and that's why the bigger time frames are a little bit better. So that does not guarantee that this is just going to play it out. I'm just plain and simple trying to make the best out of it, and I already know my plan of action. So I have a couple of targetings in here that I definitely know what to look for, and basically it's going to be the 23,898, 930 to 40 is the one that I'm really going for, and I want to close 2 positions in there and try to see if I can close some on the synergy zone 23,962, 977, and the whole objective is 24,007. Okay, that's the best that we can do. And finally, if you have access to our smart money levels, all of these stuff, I mean, this is my analysis manually done. This is how it looks turned off. But if you use our automated forecast levels, take a closer look how the weekly zone was respected. That's the reason why I was able to place my stop below that initially. And as the market progressed and revert and start coming into this level, look how each one of these levels are massively respected. And I know this is a kind of a cheat code for it, but it is what it is. So basically right now I can just go ahead. Again, I'm going to move my stop above the zone here, that micro zone that happens actually at 10 o'clock. And I'm going to let the whole thing going out. I noted the VWAP, weighted moving average, to give me kind of a context of that I'm doing the right thing. I need a rotation, and notice how this level of 23,881, it actually holding still. And basically, if we break that level, they're going to go for the previous day close. But this is an opening range of the 930 that is overlapping the one at 8 and 830. So in other words, the whole thing turns into a zone right there. But I'm going to turn this off, right? And look at the manual analysis. Spot on, isn't it? It's just that one is fully automated for me. The other one just validated more information, right? So pretty sweet, right? So either way, if you have this, if you have access to our tool suite, that's going to help you tremendously, because basically at 9:30, the market will open on its own, and I don't have to do any analysis, right? It's going to do it for you automatically, right? It's going to draw the zone and the targetings and so on and so forth. So that's in a nutshell how we can just address the opportunity and take quick trade setups. Like some of our members today shorted the market a little bit into the downside, and they were targeting all these levels, knowing that the weekly zone, and this is a weekly opening regional trade zone based on our formula that happens on Sunday, it is one of the strongest, right? And as long as the market stays above it, you can see here how when it happened, when the market just went into the sell side, that's pressure based on the big players pushing through. Once it broke above it, this is obviously manipulation based on report. That doesn't count. But look, once it's just above it, it's all about pushing further higher, right? So it's really interesting. So this is the first visit back into it. There you go. Let me move it back. right here, and this was a tell for us to look for opportunities to go into the long side, giving us that boost of confidence that if you don't have this, you have no idea what the heck is going on. Does that make sense? Anyway, the play now is going back into the close, and from there on, it's all good to go. All right. With that being said, I apologize really for the previous video. The sound was crappy, but it's still, everything is still invalid. So again, I'm giving you the context. A break above 23,874 on the NQ, targeting 898, 930, 940, 962, 977, 2408, and 24047. Okay, if you break below and they carry on and continue, a break below 23,792, they need to visit the power zone, which is 732 and 717. We turn on the smart money levels. They're going to unveil more targets in between. Let's do that pretty quick. And that will be the weekly zone sitting at the 773. We already have that. And then another level down, it's just going to be 741. So it's pretty much decent, kind of the same thing. Look, it's the same overlap, right, of distance from my analysis and the zone. So we just unveiled this two right there in addition. So we're really good and spot on in coming up with this fully automated output in comparison to the ones that we do manually for swing trading. All right. So that's the analysis on the NQ. For those of you trading the ES, same process is provided. Anyway, we're just again breaking off that 64.75, 64.74 price action analysis. So this is the beginning stages of a potential reversal to go long. A clean break above the 64.87 will trigger the back to the close of 64.90s, 64.92, targeting 65.01, 65.04, 65.11, and I'm personally aiming right to that target. You can see it right there at the 65.13 to 14. All right, and these are all based on 4-hour chart analysis. Okay, 4 and 1 hour swing trading analysis. Let's just stick with the 1 hour. This is what I'm after. And you want to validate the movement, then you can use this kind of trend line thinking over here. And the market must break free from those, and it will give you a little bit more of a context. This previous resistance, you can extend it furthermore. And you know that as soon as it touches, it's just going to revert, right? And just going to hold the prices steady in there. As long as I see this mix, I'm just playing the mean reversion of those zones. That's an aggressive aggressive trade setup. But I'm paying attention that the lower end over here will eventually match up the big ones. And since I'm seeing the NQ losing ground, but it's just keeping steady on that losing ground, it's just a matter of time to see if they catch up and carry on and continue to the upside. Right now, the market's mixed, and you can see it on the overall VIX, ES, and NQ. The three are negative. This is not good. No trade whatsoever. Focus possibly on the RTY short-term sell setup and YM short-term sell setup. Big time frame. Be aware of it. So that's the reason I'm saying it's short-term. Out of everything that I see inside the euro dollar futures is the only one to focus on to go into the long side, and that should provide great opportunities. All right, with that being said, good luck with your trading, share the results, and let me know how you're using the OT. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.